Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. In our video today, we've compiled all of our Easter DIYs into one big video. So we have 12 different Easter DIYs that are all budget friendly. Don't forget to subscribe, and we hope you enjoy this video. So we're going to start with the basket, and I purchased this wire basket from the Dollar Tree, and then you'll need to purchase 3 of the white nautical ropes. We're only going to use about 2.5 of those to complete our basket, and these are in different sections in different Dollar Trees. They may be in the craft section, or they may be up by the gardening supplies. And I'm going to start on the bottom of my basket to apply the rope, and I'm going to actually put the glue from the glue gun. I'm just attaching that to the rope and then pressing it onto the basket. You want to make sure on the bottom that you're making a really nice circle or a really good balanced bottom here, so your basket sits real even on the bottom. So all I'm going to do is apply a little glue from my glue gun to the rope and just push it onto the basket and work my way around. You don't have to cut any of the rope. It will take 2 complete ropes to go around your basket, and then you'll need some extra to make the handle. And I'm just showing you here, that's the completed first rope. So it gets about 1/4 to 1/2 of the part completed on the basket, and then you'll need your second rope. And again, all I'm doing is just using my glue gun to apply the 2 ropes together and then start twisting and working my way around the basket. I wanted to make a handle on my basket, so I just purchased this heavier floral wire from the Dollar Tree. And all I did was make a little hook on the inside, and I just twisted it there, made a hook, and then make your handle as large as you want it. And then I made the same type hook on the other side of the basket. And then I'm going to go back and I'm going to use the rope just to try to cover up the wire here. And then I'm going to go back with some twine and twist it around there just to give it a little bit more of a fancier look on my basket. And I cut 2 pieces of the white rope and I glued it on the inside against that wire, and then ran it all the way across and glued it on the other side. And I used 2 different strands, and then I put some glue on the inside of the wire and tried to push the ropes together just to try to cover up the wire there. You may see a little bit of it coming through, but for the most part it covered it really good. Right here I haven't pushed that together, but you just put a little glue there on the inside and push those 2 pieces together, and that should cover up a lot of that wire for you. Here's just a pic of my completed basket with the white rope. I'm taking this little thicker twine from the Dollar Tree, or this brown nautical rope. It's not as large as the white. I'm going to lay a piece here just so you can see. It's a little bit thinner rope. And I just tried to make my basket have a little bit more of a design on it, or a little bit fancier look. And I just glued some of the dark twine on the inside and twisted around the handle just to kind of give it a whimsical, kind of Eastery look. And then I took the dark twine and just wrapped it around the front. I just applied it with the glue gun the same way I applied the white rope, and just made a circle there around the top of the basket. So here's my completed basket with the rope and the twine. Next, we're going to add our sweet little bunny in here and put some floral items in here just to decorate him for spring and Easter. For my bunny, I purchased this sign from the Dollar Tree, and this sign has the little metal bunny on here, and all I did was pop him off with my fingers. He's just glued on there, and then I took one of the wooden skewers from the Dollar Tree and I just used my glue gun and glued him on there. And he came with the little burlap ribbon or the little bow that was already on him, so I just left that on him. And I purchased one of these round foam pieces from the Dollar Tree, and that was in the floral items, and I'm just setting that down in my basket. I'm not going to glue that in there, and that's what I'm going to use to anchor my bunny in place. I'm just going to stick my bunny down right in the center of that foam piece, and then I'm going to go back and add some floral items. He looks so cute in here. The metal and those burlap ribbon really match that white rope and twine. The floral items that I'm using, I purchased the lamb's ear from Walmart, and I think I have about 8 pieces. I just snapped those in half. They come in a 2-pack, so I think I have 4 actual pieces there, 2 packs that I had purchased, and I just clipped those in half. And then I purchased this baby's breath from the Dollar Tree, and then a pack of the white and purple lavender. And I'm going to use some of that white and purple lavender in one of the other DIY projects on this video. And I'm just laying my lamb's ear around just up against that foam piece. I'm not actually gluing those in place, just, in case you want to use your basket for something else. You could add some other floral designs in there later on. So I think I have 8 pieces around inside my basket, just setting there lightly. And then I went back and used 3 of the white and lavender pieces. And then I'm going to go back and take my baby's breath and just put that right in front of the bunny, just to try to cover up the little stake that's holding him in place. This looks really sweet, a really cute design. It has that neutral farmhouse feel, so it will coordinate well if you have some other farmhouse items. You could always add some colored Easter eggs, or even a nice spring bow would look great on this basket. We're going to move on to our next design. It also has some sweet bunnies on it. For our next DIY is the bunny platter. I purchased these wooden bunnies from the Dollar Tree. They came in a pack of 5 or 6. He has a little hole in his ear on each of them, so I used the wood putty to fill that in. I'm going to use the stepping stone that I purchased from the Dollar Tree to attach him to. They have that little piece that juts out there, but that will file down real easy with either some sandpaper, or you can probably even use a nail file to get that sanded down smooth. And all I'm going to do is use some white or off-white chalk paint to paint the back of my stepping stone here. That's the sandpaper that I use to file down that corner or that edge to make it more of a round look. And I'm using the off-white chalk paint to paint my platter, and then I'm using a dark gray to paint my wooden bunny. After I painted him, and all I'm going to do is use my hot glue gun. I'm just going to apply a little bit of glue. It doesn't take much. He will adhere really easily to the stepping stone. So I'm just putting a light amount or a real small amount of glue all around the edge of my bunny, and I'm just going to stick him onto my platter. And then we're going to go back and we're going to put some beads. I'm using some Mardi Gras beads that I purchased from the Dollar Tree. I just spray painted those in heirloom white. And if there's anywhere I missed, I took the white chalk paint just to kind of touch up the beads. And I'm just going to apply the beads around my platter with my glue gun. And this part of the video here is just showing you where I put a little glue on there. And then I'm just attaching my beads, and I'm just going to work my way around, just applying a little bit of glue and then attaching my beads until I get all the way around. And then I'm going to use a little plate stand that I'd purchased from the Dollar Tree to set this in, to put this on display. This is really a cute design, very simple to make. And here he is on the plate stand. And you can make this, really inexpensively. It's only $2 for the bunny and the platter, and then $3 if you go back and put the beads. I think the beads give it that more high-end kind of romantic farmhouse feel to add to your Easter and spring decor. Really sweet design, didn't take long to make. And we're going to move on to our third DIY that also has some cute little bunnies. I purchased these 3 wooden crates from the Dollar Tree, and these are the smaller sized crates. They do have a little bit bigger size. I think the bunnies show up better on the smaller size. They were a little bit harder to see with the larger size crate, so we decided to use these small ones. And all I'm going to do is use my glue gun to glue these together. And it doesn't take a lot of glue. You just want to use a minimal amount to get these to go together, because you don't want a big glob of glue. They're making a space in between. And just make sure you're getting them lined up good before you attach them together. Being that it's this really thin wood, they'll really stick together really quickly. So just make sure you've got everything lined up before you attach these together. So this is the third one. I'm just sticking it together here with my glue gun, and then I'm going to go back and I'm going to spray paint my wooden crates here a light gray. And here's my crate after I spray painted it a light gray. And then I painted my bunnies here. You can see those in the lower left side. I painted those the heirloom white chalk paint, and all I'm going to do is use my glue gun to position these bunnies into place. And again, this doesn't take a lot of glue, just a small amount. I wanted their tails to kind of hang over the edge. So on both ends, both of those bunnies, their tails are hanging over a little bit off the end. And I wanted my bunnies to kind of face each other, kind of in sets of 2. So that's how we're going to position our bunnies onto the crate. Again, I'm just applying these with my glue gun. I I purchased these little flower pots from the Dollar Tree. They come in a 2-pack. This is the medium size. I have one that's a little bit smaller, so these are the medium size. And I'm just using some of that off-white chalk paint and some water to kind of do a whitewash effect on these to make them have that weathered look. I actually broke this one into 3 pieces by mistake, but I'm using this one. I'm using that E6000 glue. I've just glued it back together here. And this is me just doing the whitewash. And again, it's mainly water with just a small amount of paint, and you can kind of let that run and drip and just kind of smooth it around there just to give it that you know, most flower pots have been sitting outside in the weather for a while, so that's the kind of look that we're going for, and this is a real simple way to give you that look. Again, it doesn't take much paint, just a really small amount of paint, and then the water, and just I'm going all around all 3 of my pots. I just set my flower pots into each of the crates. The one that I broke there, I had to move that around just a little bit to get it positioned in there. It was just a little bit wider when I glued it back together. These are the floral items that I purchased from the Dollar Tree. I purchased 2 of the dark purple and then 2 of the white with the lavender tip or the light purple tip. And I just clipped those apart and slid the leaves up to the top because I wanted that greenery to show. And then I'm going to use this lamb's ear. This was purchased from Walmart. And I just clipped those apart so you have 2 in 1 piece there. And I'm going to take the lamb's ear and I'm just setting these down inside here. I'm not gluing any of this into place, just in case we'd want to use this again or change any of our floral items. It's not necessary to glue the items into place. So I'm just going to put 4 pieces of lamb's ear. I'm putting that in between each of the jars here, or each of the flower pots, and they're just set real lightly down into place. And that's how I'm going to position the lavender into place too. I'm putting 3 dark purple pieces in each pot, and then 2 of the white with purple tips into each pot. And I just clip those down with some wire clippers low enough so they'll just set lightly in each pot. I didn't glue anything in here. I love these shades of lavender. When I saw these in the store, I think that they are a really high-end look of a floral item that they have available there in the Dollar Tree. This turned out great. It's very springtime and very festive. Also, it gives you that kind of Easter feel if you're wanting to put some bunnies out for Easter. You could put some ribbons around each one of the bunnies, or even put some little Easter eggs into your pots if you want a little bit more pop of color. But we're trying to go for that more neutral theme today and that more farmhouse kind of look with our 3 DIYs today. We hope you enjoyed our video today. Leave us a comment. Let us know which one of these DIYs that you like the best. I can't decide which one's my favorite. I love working outside, so I love flower pots, but they all coordinate together and go great together. They're budget-friendly designs, so you can make these very inexpensively, but still have that high-end look for you to decorate for spring and Easter. If you're new to our channel, Southern gmoregals, we'd love to have you subscribe to our channel. Turn your notifications on so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. We're going to try to have new videos out on Mondays is what we're planning for. We may have an extra video out towards the end of the week, depending on how time works out for us. We look forward to having you join us on our next video. Thanks for watching, and we hope you have a great rest of your day. And here's just a little sneak peek or a little tidbit of our finished product here with my hanging with my peeps. And what I did to start this, I wanted an Easter tree to hang my little Easter eggs on. And what I'm going to use is I clipped some crepe myrtle bushes. These are very plentiful where I'm at, and these are lightweight bushes, and they have lots of little branches on them. So these worked out really good to make an Easter tree with. So I took about 3 pieces, and I'm going to tie those together with a zip tie, and that's what I'm going to use to make my Easter tree. And here's the pieces that I'm using, and you can see here that all I did was use a zip tie. You can get zip ties at the Dollar Tree, and I just squeezed those 3 bunches together. You just want to make sure that the bottom is even so you can place it good here in your pot. And I'm just checking here to make sure this is a good height and fullness of my branches. And then I took some heirloom white spray paint and I spray painted my branches. And then I just used my glue gun. I put glue on the bottom of the branches there and glued those down into the flower pot. I purchased the flower pot from the Dollar Tree. They come in a pack of 2. This one is actually left from my video DIYs from last week. I had this one left over. The top of it there is cracked a little bit, but we're still going to use this pot. And now I'm going to show you, I use these little wooden skewer sticks from the Dollar Tree. That's what I made my ladder with. And all I did was I used two full pieces. I just snipped the pointed end off, and then I took a third one and just made my ladder as wide as I wanted it. And I just used my hot glue gun to glue the steps onto the ladder. And after I got my ladder glued together, I'm going to go back and stain my ladder. I'm using a medium wood stain. It's the Early American is the shade, so I'm going to stain my ladder. And this is a picture of my tree inside, just so you could see it, finished there with the paint before we start decorating it. I am going to go back on my pot and do a whitewash. I'm going to show you here. I just wanted the flower pot to have more of a rustic type appearance or a weathered appearance. And to make the whitewash, all I'm using is just water and just a really small amount of some off-white chalk paint. It doesn't take much paint. I just mix those together, and I'm just really quickly going over the pot just to give it that weathered or rustic type look. And it's okay if it's running there, because that's the kind of look that we're after, is flower pots after they've been out in the weather. To decorate my tree, I bought these packs of these little foam Easter eggs from the Dollar Tree, and all I'm doing is I'm popping them off of the stick there, and I actually used the bow that was on the stick. I just glued the bow with the hot glue gun and glued a piece of twine onto each egg, and then I'm just going to hang them on my tree. I used a whole pack of eggs, and then I used one more out of a second pack of eggs. And these are my bunny peeps. These are headbands that I purchased from the Dollar Tree. I got one pink one and one blue one, and I'm just using one bunny off each one. I took some wire cutters and just clipped the spring off there, and then I'm just going to fold his legs in and use my glue gun to glue that down just to make him look more like one of the peep candies. I used a piece of the white styrofoam board from the Dollar Tree to make my sign. I just used a Sharpie to handwrite hanging with my peeps on there. I hot glue gunned a small bow out of buffalo plaid ribbon, and then I took a piece of white twine, and then I painted one piece black, and I twisted it together there to make my hanger, and I just hung it on my ladder. I glued my bunnies onto the ladder with my glue gun, and then I took a couple sprigs of baby's breath from the Dollar Tree, and I filled in my flower pot with just a couple pieces there of the baby's breath. This is a really cute, simple DIY. It does have that farmhouse rustic type look to it, using the branches from outside and them being the off-white color, but then it also has that little pop or little splash of color if you want that those classic festive colors for Easter. Kids will love these bright little peeps and bright little eggs. I always wanted peeps at Easter. They look so yummy in the store, and then when you got them home, ugh, I do not like the taste of them. I didn't eat them when I was a kid, but I always wanted a pack at Easter. We're going to move on to DIY. I'm using one of these eggs from this 3-pack here. I just took the pipe cleaner off of there, and I'm just using it for a pattern. And I'm going to cut this out of the styrofoam board. I'm just tracing around there, and then I'm using that X-Acto knife to cut this out. And you can see a little bit better in this picture. I'm just taking a pencil here, and I'm going to trace around the plastic part. And then I'm going to go back with the X-Acto knife and cut out around there, around the pencil tracing. To paint my eggs, I'm using an off-white chalk paint as my base. And then I have the yellow, a pink, and a purple. And you just need a drop or two of each of the colors in with your chalk paint. And it doesn't take much paint here to paint these eggs. You only need a small amount. And then I'm just putting a piece of paper there to make a straight line. And I'm using a Q-tip and the off-white chalk paint just to make some polka dots. I'm starting from the middle of the egg and going down and making several rows of the off-white polka dots across my eggs. I saw these eggs that were wooden cutouts, so that's the look that I'm after, but making these in a more budget-friendly design. And to add a little something extra, just to try to decorate these a little bit more, I just took some of the Mardi Gras beads from the Dollar Tree. I spray painted those in off-white, and I'm just going to use my glue gun here and just go right around the edge, and I'm just going to attach my beads all the way around each egg. And if you miss a little bit with your spray paint, you can use some of that off-white chalk paint just to hit if you miss anywhere on your beads. And then I went back, I have some tulle. I used a blue tulle. a fuchsia pink, and then a really light pink on the yellow, and I just tied that around each egg and made a knot there in the front, or a twist tie in the front. And then my eggs are on, they're just on a wooden frame from one of the canvases from the Dollar Tree. I just broke those apart, and these have some wood stain on them. I just glued the egg onto each piece of the frame, and then I went back and took a piece of one of the wooden pieces of the egg from my tree and just broke it there and glued it on the back just to keep it from tipping over. So that's going to help it stand up straight. And these are large pieces. These will look great back behind some of your other Easter decor. The beads give it that modern farmhouse feel, so they'll coordinate great if you have some of those other modern farmhouse designs in your decorations. For our last DIY, we just have a basket of eggs. I got this basket from this wire basket from the Dollar Tree, and it's a gold color. And I'm just using a gray spray paint, and I'm going to tone this down some. So I'm just going to spray paint this gray. So I purchased 3 packs of these eggs at the Dollar Tree. There's 4 in a pack. These are larger eggs than what I used on the tree. I'm using this buffalo plaid fabric, and this is actually a dog bandana. I'm really surprised to find that, but this was at the Dollar Tree. And then I'm going to use this white felt, and then I have a ton of this burlap ribbon from some Christmas DIYs that we're going to use. So we're going to make 3 different eggs, and we're going to wrap our foam eggs there in the different fabrics. So I'm just popping my styrofoam egg off of the sticks there, and I'm going to use for the buffalo plaid, I just cut those in triangles because I wanted to have enough for 4, and I'm just folding this over like wrapping a present, and I'm going to use my glue gun with the buffalo plaid. Obviously, wrapping it in fabric, it's not going to be completely smooth like it would be if you painted it. And I'm just folding and wrapping like a present. With the white felt, I actually used 2 layers just so you wouldn't see the color coming through. And I cut a square out, and again, I'm just kind of folding this like you'd wrap a present, folding the corners and kind of tucking it. And then for the white, I'm going to use a piece of the twine from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to take that twine and wrap it around there and make a little bow. So I'm not using the glue gun on the white, but I am going to use the glue gun on the burlap and the buffalo plaid fabric. So there's my egg. It's all wrapped up, and I'm just taking a piece of this twine, and I'm going to put the back part there with the back of the twine, and then the bow is going to be on the smoother part, or on the front part here of the egg. And I didn't use any glue with my with the bow or the twine here, and this stayed in place good. So just make a little simple bow, and that's it for the white one. And I was looking for a larger piece of burlap fabric, and I couldn't find any, so I thought, since I have a ton of this ribbon, I'm going to use it. And to start with, I just glued one piece all the way around, right there together, glued the seam together, and then I'm just going to fold this down, and you'll actually have a fold there at the top, and I'm going to glue these with my glue gun to get that nice and tight. And then I'm going back, and I'm cutting 2 strips for the sides. I cut a strip like this. I just cut the corners off there, so this will tuck into my egg. And on the sides, this little piece of white there, that lace, that'll peel right off of this burlap. So all I'm doing is peeling that off on the sides. I am going to leave the white lace down the center of the egg, or down the side of the egg, but I'm peeling it off on the side here. And then for this piece, I'm just going to kind of tuck it in here. That's why you want to cut those corners off, and I'm going to glue that in place there with my glue gun. And these are a great addition if you're using neutrals in your Easter decor, but you want to have some eggs out. They go great in the gray basket there, and I just kind of arrange them whichever order that you want them. I just kind of dropped them into my basket, and I want to show you everything together, and then we're also going to show you some of our bunny DIYs that were in last week's video, since they do have that modern farmhouse feel. So the eggs go really great up against the basket there. So here's putting it all together. We have our 3 egg DIYs here together. I also put these together with our 3 bunny DIYs that we had in our previous video, and I'll put the link down in our description box if you missed that video, so definitely go back and check that one out. We want to thank everybody for watching today. Leave us a comment. Let us know which DIY that you like the best. Kirkland's website on my home computer. This is the wreath that we're going to copycat. This is called their Hippity Hoppity Bunny Wreath, and this retails for $29.99. So I'm going to show you how to make this wreath for around the cost of $7. We're going to use Dollar Tree items to make our wreath. Purchased this wire frame from the Dollar Tree. It says it's a 14-inch wreath, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the bottom portion, all 3 of the wire rows, to attach the eucalyptus and the bunny on there, but I'm going to cut some of this down to just leave that outer rim around the top part of the wreath where we're going to put our braiding that goes around our wreath. And this is what I'm going to use for the braiding. This is actually a plant hanger. I thought this color matched up pretty closely to what the picture on Kirkland's looks like. They do have a couple of different colors, but this is kind of like a really light brown or almost a golden type color. And I purchased that from the Dollar Tree. And I'm just using wire cutters to clip this down. I'm going to leave the bottom 2 sections here complete. I'm not going to cut that, but I'm going to cut off those 3 inner rows around the top half of the wreath. Where you see the piece that comes over, all the way over, I just left a little small hook. There's 3 little small hooks there you can see, and I just left those there to be able to attach the braiding around there in case I needed that extra support there. And I left those a little bit longer. I ended up having to cut that down just a little bit more, so you only need a really small piece there to apply your yarn. I purchased this pack of foam eggs from the Dollar Tree, and they have a little bow there, and then they're on a little wooden stick. And I'm going to paint these to kind of tone these down and take off the glitter, and then I'm just going to apply these with the glue gun. To start applying the braiding or the yarn around my wreath, all I did was I took a glue gun and just went around the very outside edge and glued as I went around. So you just need a little small or little thin amount to go around the outside edge, and I followed that all the way around just to cover up that green wire. And then we're going to go back and we're going to have a second row. So all I'm doing here is I'm taking my glue gun and applying it on the inside, and then I'm going to attach my second row. I'm just gluing it all the way around there to glue the 2 pieces together. And this goes together really easily. This doesn't take a lot of pressure or anything. You just have to apply just a really small amount. Doesn't take a lot of glue either. I'm just really lightly going around the inside edge of the braiding that's already there, and I'm just lightly pushing the 2 pieces together just so they'll attach to one another to make those 2 rows. That's what it looks like as the Kirkland's wreath has 2 rows going around. And the little edge there, or the little metal piece, you can see that I left those 3 little pieces sticking out. It works great to be able to secure your braid to that's going around, just to kind of anchor, give it that extra added anchor there. And there should be 3 of those pieces around your wreath when you're cutting it down, so just be sure you leave a little hook there. And here's my bunny. This is the sign I purchased from the Dollar Tree, and all I did was pop him off. I took a little screwdriver and ran it up under him and popped him off there, and then I painted it with some white chalk paint just to tone down that glitter. I purchased a pack of this eucalyptus from Walmart, and this is the most expensive item that's going on our wreath. This was $3 a pack, so I'm just using 1 pack. If you want your wreath to be a lot fuller, you'll want to purchase 2 packs, but you can make the wreath with just 1 pack is plenty. That's all I'm using on this wreath. And these are the eggs. After I painted them, I just wanted you to see they don't have that sparkly glitter effect anymore. And all I'm doing here is I'm just building my way with the glue gun. I'm just attaching the eucalyptus around to cover up the wire. So I'm actually gluing each leaf in place where I want it to kind of cover up the yarn, cover up the wire, so you're not seeing any of that showing through. It doesn't take a lot of glue. And in the picture, it looks like that some of the eucalyptus is kind of freely kind of moving, but this back part, I wanted to glue the leaves down to make my cover, and then I'm going to have a couple that are just kind of loosely where all of the leaves aren't glued down. But most of these right here in the back, I attached the leaves with the glue gun so they'll cover up the wire and cover up that braid. And here you can see I'm starting to apply some of the eggs. I did the same with those. I just put a little glue there and attach those. And I'm going to stop here. I'm getting kind of in the center there, and I'm going to stop and attach my bunny so I can kind of tell how full I want that part to be, so I have enough eucalyptus to fill in the center there. To attach my bunny, I turn the wreath on its back side, and I'm using 2 little small thin clear zip ties. I'm looping one around his foot and one around his tail, and that secures him really tightly in place, and you want to get those real tight so he stands up straight. And then here I just flipped him back over, and I'm keep building here with the eggs and the eucalyptus just to fill in and cover up the wire and the braiding. So here's my finished wreath. I have this hanging inside. This is on a wooden cathedral window. This is a really lightweight wreath, so it makes it great to hang inside. You don't need anything really heavy for this to hang on. This is a really cute, simple wreath. You can make this wreath for $7. Let's go back though and look at the wreath that's on Kirkland's. So here's another quick peek at the wreath that's on Kirkland's website, and this wreath here retails for $29.99. Now let's go back to the wreath that I made for $7. So here's another look at the wreath that we made in this DIY for $7. Really cute wreath. Yes, the bunny is a little bit of a different shape than the Kirkland's design, but this bunny's a really cute shape, and he only costs $1, and he already comes with that little cute burlap bow. So this wreath is a really quick and easy design to make. This doesn't take a long time to put together. So if you're limited on time and a budget, this is a great design for you to choose or be inspired to make. If you're new to Southern Gmoregals, we'd love to have you subscribe and turn your notifications on so you don't miss any of our upcoming DIY videos. We're trying to have new videos out on Mondays, so you don't want to miss any of those upcoming videos. We're new to Instagram, so check out our Instagram link is listed down in our description box. Leave us a comment, let us know what you think about this wreath. I think we nailed the copycat or the dupe, especially making it for $1/4 of the cost that you could find this at retail. We want to thank everyone for watching. So for our first DIY, I started with these crates, and these are the larger crates from the Dollar Tree. I purchased 3 of these, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to glue these together with the glue gun. So I'm just going to put some glue on each of these pieces and hot glue these together. And these go together really easy. It doesn't take a whole lot of glue. You just want to make sure after you've got your glue on there that you line them up even at the top and then on the front so everything's straight in line. And these was what they look like here together. And then I'm going to show you the 3 crosses that I purchased. Also, I got these from the Dollar Tree. I purchased 2 of the straight ones and then one that has the center cut out. And the one that has the center cut out has a little stand on it. I'm going to keep the stand on there. For my next step, I wood stain my crates and my crosses. I used an early American wood stain. I went back and tried to do a whitewash over the boxes, but it didn't make them bright enough where the letters would stand out. So you could skip the step of staining and just spray paint them. The heirloom white spray paint is what the color is that I spray painted them. But if you do stain them first and then spray paint them, you'll have a nice rustic type or weather type appearance to your crates. And these are the wooden letters that I'm using. I purchased these from the Dollar Tree, and all I'm going to do is I use the wood stain on my letters so they'll really pop out when you make the crate that white color. So here are my crates. I just really lightly went over them with the heirloom white spray paint, and then you can see a picture here of my letters. You want to take your letters and space them out against your crates before you glue those on. I just use the glue gun to glue those on just to make sure that your spacing is right. And it doesn't take a lot of glue to glue these on. They'll attach really easy. And I want the center cross to be up a little bit higher. I have these little wooden pieces left from a DIY. I purchased these from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just taking 2 of them and hot gluing them down inside my crate. And then I'm gluing my crosses. I'm gluing the center one onto that little wooden piece, and then the other 2 I just put some hot glue and glued those down inside the crate. So the center one is standing a little bit higher up. And then I just took some floral items that I purchased from the Dollar Tree. I purchased a pack of the Easter lilies, and I used 3 there in the front. And I didn't glue my floral items down. I just clipped those off and placed those inside there. I have a couple pieces of lavender that I added, and then a few pieces of lamb's ear, and I purchased the lamb's ear from Walmart. I did go back in the center cross there on the inside. I used some gold nail polish to go around there. You can't see it really good, But just to kind of accent it, to give it a little special effect there right in the center. And you really want to do that before you glue the crosses in there. I didn't do that first. It was a little bit hard trying to use the nail polish after it was glued inside the crate, but it was doable, and I like the effect or the look that it gives on that center cross. And this really turned out pretty. It looks great against some of my other Easter decor. It has that farmhouse type vibe to it. Really simple, inexpensive design to make. And we're going to move on to our next DIY. For my second DIY, this is the jar DIY with the crosses on them. And this is really simple and easy to make. I'm using one large jar, that's a quart size, and then 2 small jars, those are pint-sized jars. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to use some painter's tape to make the cross effect on the front. The large quart jar that I have is a wide mouth jar. It doesn't really matter which type of top that you have on it. So I have one wide mouth ring and then 2 of the regular mouth rings that I'm going to use. And all I'm going to do for those is just spray paint those, the heirloom white. And then this is just some painter's tape. I think I'd purchased that from Walmart. For the quart-sized jar or the large jar, I wanted this cross to be a little bit wider, a little bit bigger. So I did one whole strip, and then I went back and kind of split that and did a second strip across there, and then and the same thing across the cross. And then I'm just using one of these like razor blades or X-Acto knives to make the edge there really straight. So here you can see a little bit better that I have like 1.5 strips down that quart jar to make this cross a little bit wider or a little bit thicker, because we want that center jar or the middle cross is the special one. So we want that one to stand out a little bit. And then on the pint-sized jars, I just used one strip of tape. So they just have one strip of tape going down and one strip going across. And there you can see a little bit better that the center cross has a little bit more tape on it to make it just a little bit wider, a little bit more bolder there to stand out against the other two. And these are the paints that I used. I'm outside, so it made a little bit of a shadow here, but the center jar or the quart size jar, the big one, I'm using the white on because I want that to stand out a little bit more. And then the 2 smaller jars are the pint size. I'm using the ivory or the off-white. And I just painted my jars, and then this you can see where I peeled the tape off of the center one. And then I'm going to go back and use some of that twine. I just hot glued around the bottom of my jars and around the top of the jar lids. I left the large quart jar, I didn't put any twine around the top of it. And this is the jars. I had 2 tea light candles in the small one and then 1 flameless candle there, but it was a little bit too big, so I just wanted you to see that one's a little bit too large. So I actually switched it out with the tea light candle. It looks much better in the jars when the lights are turned out. And here's the effect with the lights dimmed down or lights turned out. And this really pops out. You can even see that center jar, how the white stands out up against the off-white jar. So it does make a little bit of a difference there for that jar to stand out a little bit brighter in the center. And these look really pretty too, and they have that farmhouse feel as well. Now I didn't put a lid in the top. The top of the jars just have the ring around there. Since we have flame candles in there, you don't want to have the lid on the top if you put a candle in there. So there's just the ring around the top, and then you can see the twine on the tops of the 2 small jars. And I didn't put any twine on the top middle jar, but I did put twine around the bottom of all 3 jars. And here again is just some of the effects with the lights dimmed down, so you can really see that these really stand out and really pop out. So these look great. We're going to move on. We have one more DIY that we're going to show you. For our third DIY, I'm going to make a wreath. I purchased this cross from the Dollar Tree. It did have a heart in the center there that I popped off of it. And this is the frame. I purchased this wire frame from the Dollar Tree. It's a 14-inch frame. And then I'm using this burlap ribbon that has the lace in the center. I also purchased that from the Dollar Tree. I have a lot of this lace left from a Christmas DIY, so I'm trying to use all of that up. And that lace will actually just peel off of the burlap ribbon. So that is how I'm using it to go around my frame. I'm just putting a little bit of glue from the hot glue gun and then wrapping it around. And I didn't glue with every piece. I wrapped several times around and then I put just a little bit more glue, so you don't have to continuously glue this with the glue gun. I randomly glued it every so many wraps just to make sure it stays in place there. And I continued this pattern all the way around the frame. And here is the frame that's completed after I've got the ribbon wrapped all the way around my wreath. For my cross here, I'd spray painted it in off-white. And then I'm using these stencils I purchased a pack from the Dollar Tree, and I just cut them across here in strips. I used a little piece of twine there just to kind of run down the center of the cross to make sure I'm getting it straight. And then I'm just holding these stencils in place. I'm using a stencil brush, and I'm just stenciling with a dark purple to make my stencil risen down the center of the cross. And this doesn't take a lot of paint when you're stenciling. Really, less is more. I'm just holding this really tightly and then just going over it very lightly with some of the dark purple paint. And here's my cross after I finish the letters. And all I'm going to do to attach my cross to my wreath is I'm just going to use my glue gun. First, I took some of the burlap ribbon. I left the lace on the center and I twisted a bow with some wire. And then I just took the wire and threaded it through here a piece of the burlap, so it's just kind of holding it in place, and I twisted a knot there. So that's what's holding my ribbon on. You could also use a little glue with your glue gun. I wanted the bow to be kind of sitting on top in the center or the inside of the wreath. And I'm just hot gluing right up under the right corner of the cross here. And then I'm going to turn it around on the back and hot glue a piece on the back of the cross to attach this to my wreath. The cross has a little stand on the back of it, so I just left that on the cross, and then I'm just hot gluing that corner on the back side of my wreath. So I just hot glued it in two different places, and this holds it in place, good enough for your wreath. It will stay put. So here's my cross and my bow, and next we're going to move on. These are the floral items. I purchased these little small white flowers from Walmart. They were 97 cents. I just clipped those apart, and then I purchased a lavender from the Dollar Tree, and then a pack of the Easter lilies from the Dollar Tree. And here's the wreath laying down. I just put 2 Easter lilies on the left side here, and I'm just using a glue gun to attach my floral items. And then I put several of the little sprigs of the white flowers, and then 3 or 4 of the little sprigs of lavender around the bow here. And the combination looks great. Using the purple on the cross with the lavender really makes those coordinate together, the colors. But it also has, with the burlap ribbon, that farmhouse vibe if you want more of a neutral colors with your Easter decor. I want to show this to you hanging up. I'm going to put this in my hallway and let you see what it looks like hanging. And here it is hanging up. This is just at the end of my hallway. I have a little wooden cathedral window that I have that I've painted, and so this is hanging on that. This is a real lightweight wreath if you need something simple to put together that's inexpensive. Looks great inside. It really has that farmhouse type vibe to it. We hope everyone enjoyed our video today. Leave us a comment. Let us know which one is your favorite DIY. I feel like we've got it all covered with if you're looking for a really simple wreath, or if you want something a little bit larger with the crate design to put out, or if you just want something really quick and simple. The jars is a great DIY for you to make. Let us know what you think about these projects. If you're new to our channel, Southern Gals, don't forget to hit your subscribe button and turn your notifications on so you don't miss any of our upcoming DIY videos. We're trying to have new videos out on Monday, so you don't want to miss out on those. I'm also going to include some of the links in the description box of some of our other spring and Easter DIYs. We have a bunny Kirkland's dupe wreath that's out. We have that video out. We also have an Easter bunny tree and a DIY video that has 3 bunny DIYs, and then one that has 3 Easter egg DIYs. So we have a variety of videos that are out right now. We want to thank everyone for watching and hope y'all have a great Easter. These are the items that I purchased from the Dollar Tree to make my 2 trays. This is the one I'm using for the farmhouse tray, is the clear plate, and then the glass candle holder. And then these are some silver plates. There's actually 4 that came in a pack. I was just planning on using one, but they're so flimsy. I'm going to use all 4 together to make the classic bunny tray. And then I'm going to use this larger candle holder on the classic bunny tray, or this wider candle holder, because you'll need something a little bit more sturdy to support your jars that we're going to put on the top. So I'm going to use this E6000 glue to put my Farmhouse bunny tray together. You could use a hot glue gun or the E6000 glue, or you could use them both together, whichever one that you prefer to put your trays together. So I'm just putting a little bit of glue here on the candle holder, and then I'm going to apply my tray. And here's my tray once the glue is dried. I just went over my tray with some of this heirloom white spray paint. This is a great color if you want that kind of farmhouse classic off-white. I love this shade of off-white. I've used it a lot in most of my farmhouse projects. And this is the bunny that's going to go on top. I purchased this bunny from the Dollar General. He was $4. They have them in several different colors. I was really excited when I found the off-white because I was going to paint one of the other ones off-white. And then I just took some of the Mardi Gras beads from the Dollar Tree and I spray painted those, the heirloom white. I just hang these on a tree branch and spray paint them. And then I'm just using my hot glue gun to apply my beads around my tray. And you'll need 2 strands of beads. It takes one whole strand to go around your tray, and then just a little short piece of another strand of beads. And then I could just see where a little bit of the gold was coming through on the beads that the spray paint didn't cover. So I'm just touching a couple spots here where I see that the spray paint didn't cover good. And I'm just going to set my bunny on the middle of the tray. He's really sturdy. You know, if you wanted to, you could glue him down with a glue gun or with some of the E6000 glue. But I'm just setting him here. He feels really sturdy, like he's not going to fall over or go anywhere. And then I'm just taking some of the Spanish moss. I purchased that from the Dollar Tree. And I'm going to go around my bunny. And here he is. He's really cute. This definitely has that farmhouse look to it, with the off-white and neutral tones. He came with the little bow, the little burlap bow that's on him. For my classic bunny tray, I spray painted my pieces separate. This is I used a stone gray color because I want to put some little Easter eggs on the candle holder, and I was afraid if I glued the tray on top there I wouldn't be able to do that. And I found these stickers, or they're actually window decals, at the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to use these little eggs here on my candle holder, and I'm just using some of the Mod Podge to make these stickered here. It doesn't really stick good because it's a window decal, so you'll just have to hold it on here while you're using the Mod Podge, but it will adhere to the candle holder if you put some of that on here. just using my hot glue gun to put this tray together, and I'm using all 4 of the plates. I spray painted the stone color so they're all together here, and I'm just using my hot glue gun, and I'm going to center those and putting this tray together. Purchased these little white foam bunnies from the Dollar Tree. They came in an 8-pack. They were not on these sticks. I just put them on these sticks so I can paint them. These are the sticks I had from the Easter egg tree. The little eggs came on these sticks, and I had a little bow. So I popped the eggs off in the bow, and I'm going to use those bows. Here's a snapshot of the bow. I'm going to use these on the bunnies. I'm going to glue those on after I get them painted. But I just put them on the sticks here so they'll be easier to paint. And I'm just using a small amount of white chalk paint, and I'm mixing my colors in there. I'm going to have 2 yellow bunnies, 2 pink bunnies, 2 blue bunnies, and then 2 gray bunnies. All my bunnies after I got them painted and they dried, and I'm just going to place them around my tray, and then I'm going to use my hot glue gun. I just want to kind of have an idea about the spacing, so I just have them sitting on my tray, and then I'm just putting a little bit of glue with the glue gun, just a small amount, and positioning the bunnies around the tray. And I'm just hot gluing some of the bows that were on the sticks left from the Easter eggs from my Easter egg tree. And I'm just gluing these around on the bunnies. And I'm using 3 jars on my tray. I'm using the large jar as a quart, then a pint, and then a small jar is a jelly jar. And I'm going to take some of this twine that I purchased from the Dollar Tree, and we're just going to tie this around the tops of the jars, and then we're going to tie a bow once we get these wrapped around. Now here's our completed classic colors of Easter bunny tray. Now I'm going to take my jars and I'm going to fill them with some goodies or some sweet treats. So fill it with whatever candy. I tried to pick out some that were all little eggs and that were colorful. I didn't get the back or the quart jar completely full. I should have bought 2 bags of candy for that, but still looks great. When you walk by, you can get you a little treat or something sweet off of this tray. Very colorful, definitely has those classic bright colors for Easter. And you could also put some of your dyed eggs or your plastic eggs on top of this tray, or some of the colored grass for Easter. going to spin my tray around here just so you can see. I wanted you to be able to see the little eggs that were on the stand so you can kind of have an idea of the different colors that are on here. I think that really adds something special or gives it a really unique look by adding the little eggs on the bottom part of the stand. And they all have a little saying on them. They did have one that had some plaid. I didn't use that one, but most of these on here have peeps or some kind of saying out of the eggs that we picked out off the window decals. Well, we hope everyone enjoyed our video today. Leave us a comment. Let us know which tray that you like the best. You can coordinate these with any of your other Easter designs if you want something more neutral or if you want something that has the bright, beautiful colors for Easter. If you're new to our channel, Southern gmoregals, we'd love to have you subscribe, turn your notifications on so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. We're trying to have new videos out on Monday, so we don't want you to miss any of those. I'm going to link some of our other Easter DIY and spring DIY videos down in our description box, so check out some of our other Easter DIYs to get you inspired for Easter. We're new to Instagram, so check out our page on Instagram. I also have the link listed in our description box. You'll get a little sneak peek of the videos. I tried to have that out on Sunday so you can get a little sneak peek of the new video that's coming out. We want to thank everyone for watching. We hope you have a great Easter.